Exhaustion has a way of making you hear things that aren't there. Except tonight, I definitely heard my sister's voice through Mom's baby monitor, crystal clear and dripping with mockery. Let the saint pay the bills now. I'm Savannah, and I haven't slept more than 3 consecutive hours in the past 8 months. That's how long it's been since Mom's diagnosis, since I moved back home to become her full-time caregiver. My siblings promised to help, but their version of help consists of occasional Venmo transfers and emoji-filled text messages asking how Mom's doing. Did you get my transfer? Lily texted earlier today. $200 for groceries. Tell Mom I love her. I stared at my phone, thinking about the $1-800 pharmacy bill sitting on the kitchen counter. Got it, thanks, I replied, adding a heart emoji because that's what good sisters do. The baby monitor crackled again. Mom was supposed to be sleeping, but I could hear multiple voices in her room. She's such a martyr, Lily's voice came through. Always has been. Remember when she gave up that scholarship to community college because Mom had the flu? Classic Savannah, Jonas chuckled. Hey, did you move the last bit from the savings account? My heart stopped. I pressed the monitor closer to my ear, sitting up straight in my worn armchair. Clean as a whistle, Lily replied. Between the two of us, we've managed to protect nearly everything. Can't let it all go to medical bills, right? Mom would have wanted us to be taken care of, Jonas agreed. I felt sick. The room started spinning as pieces clicked into place. The bounced checks, the mysterious insufficient funds notices, Mom's confusion about missing statements. How much did you get? Jonas asked. About 60 grand total. You? 45. Would have been more, but that photography equipment wasn't cheap. My hands shook as I pulled up Mom's banking app on my phone. I had the password because I handled her bills, but I rarely checked the savings accounts. Lily had convinced Mom years ago to add her as a co-signer, just in case, and Jonas followed suit. The main savings account balance, $236.42. Remember when she tried to lecture me about fiscal responsibility? Lily laughed through the monitor. God, that was rich. Speaking of rich, did you see her face when I showed up in the new BMW? The one you bought with Mom's CD money? She thinks I got a promotion at work. Meanwhile, little sister's driving that same beaten-up Corolla. I clicked through other accounts, my vision blurring. Empty. 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 They'd been systematically draining everything for months, maybe years. The monitor crackled again. Mom's voice, weak but clear. Lily? Jonas? Is someone there? Just checking on you, Mom. Lily's voice softened instantly. Go back to sleep. Where's Savannah? Probably passed out somewhere. You know how dramatic she gets about being tired. I heard footsteps, then the closing of Mom's door. My siblings' voices faded as they moved down the hallway. We should get going, Jonas said. Savannah might come up soon. Please, she's probably writing in her diary about how hard her life is. Their laughter faded. The front door opened and closed. Through my window, I watched Lily's BMW pull away, followed by Jonas's leased Mercedes. My phone buzzed. Another text from Lily. Stop by to see Mom. She was sleeping so peacefully. You're doing such a great job, sis. I started to type, how dare you, but deleted it. My hands were trembling too hard to text anyway. Instead, I walked to Mom's room, my sock feet silent on the carpet. She was awake, staring at the ceiling. Did you hear them? She whispered as I approached. Yes. I'm so sorry, Savannah. Her hand found mine in the darkness. But do you remember what I told you? About the safe house? I froze. 3 years ago, Mom had pulled me aside after her first cancer scare. She'd whispered something about a folder, about waiting for the right moment. I'd dismissed it as medication-induced confusion. Check my filing cabinet, she said now, her voice stronger. Bottom drawer, the folder marked Safe House. Mom, you need to rest. Now, Savannah. Her grip tightened on my hand. Before they come back, before they take everything. I kissed her forehead and went to the cabinet. The folder was there, thick with documents I couldn't make out in the dim light. My phone buzzed again. Jonas this time. "Thanks for holding down the fort, sis. Don't work too hard." I stared at the message, then at the folder in my hands. Something inside me shifted, a lifetime of being the good sister crumbling away. Game on. The documents in the safe house folder felt heavy in my hands as I spread them across the kitchen table. Dawn was breaking outside, and I hadn't slept a minute. My coffee had gone cold hours ago. Power of attorney forms, bank statements, investment account details, all notarized, all dated 3 years ago. And a handwritten note from Mom. "When they show their true colors, call Randall. He knows what to do." My phone rang, making me jump. Lily. "Hey, sister dearest." Her voice was syrupy sweet. "Just checking if you need anything. Jonas and I were thinking of stopping by later." Actually, I kept my voice steady. I was looking at Mom's accounts. There seemed to be some discrepancies. A pause. "What do you mean?" "Large withdrawals, missing funds, nearly $100,000 gone." "Oh, honey." Her tone shifted to concerned. "You're exhausted. You're seeing things. Maybe you should take a break. Jonas and I can watch Mom for a weekend." "I have the statements right here, Lily." "Listen," she said, dropping the sweetness. "Mom asked us to help manage her finances. We're protecting her assets. You're too emotional about all this." "By emptying her accounts?" "Don't start drama, Savannah. It's not a good look on you." I hung up and texted Jonas. "We need to talk about Mom's money." His reply came instantly. "Don't know what you mean. Been helping with bills when I can. Maybe you need some rest?" Same script, different actor. My hands shook as I opened the final document from the folder, information for an account I'd never seen before at a private investment firm. Below the account number was a post-it note in Mom's precise handwriting, "For my daughter who sees clearly." The phone rang again. Unknown number. "Savannah?" A male voice. "This is Randall Quinn, your mother's attorney." My heart skipped. "How did you—" "I've been monitoring the accounts. Your mother asked me to watch for unusual activity. When the primary savings was drained last night, it triggered an alert." "You knew this would happen?" "Your mother knew. She's been planning for this possibility since her first cancer scare. She made me promise not to intervene until they took everything. She wanted—" He paused. "She wanted them to show you who they really were." I gripped the phone tighter. "What do we do now?" "Check your email. I'm sending you documents to sign. Once they're notarized, you'll have full power of attorney and control of all accounts, including the one they don't know about." "The investment account?" $850,000. Your mother's been quietly funding it for decades. Lily and Jonas have no idea it exists." My legs went weak. I sank into a chair. "There's more," Randall continued. "We have records of every unauthorized withdrawal they've made, every transfer, every lie. The question is, what do you want to do about it?" Before I could answer, I heard Mom calling from upstairs. "One moment," I told Randall. I found her sitting up in bed, more alert than she'd been in weeks. "Did you open it?" she asked. "Yes. Mom, why didn't you tell me?" "Because you needed to see it for yourself." She took my hand. "I've watched them manipulate you since you were children, always taking, always lying, always making you doubt yourself. But you stayed, you cared, you saw clearly." "We could press charges," I said. "Get the money back." "No." She squeezed my hand. "That's not the way. Remember when you were little and Lily broke your dollhouse? What did you do?" I waited until Christmas and gave her my new one. She was so excited. Then I told everyone how she'd broken the first one." "Exactly. You showed everyone who she really was, but made it impossible for her to play the victim." Mom smiled. "The money they stole, let them keep it. We have something better planned." I went back to the phone. "Randall, let's do this quietly. No charges, no confrontation, not yet." "I understand. I'll have everything ready this afternoon. And Savannah, your mother was right about you. After hanging up, I sent a text to both siblings. You're right. I'm probably just tired. Everything's fine. Love you both. Lily replied first. That's our sensible sister. Get some rest. Jonas followed. Knew you'd understand. Family first. I set my phone down and looked at the stack of documents. Proof of their theft, their lies, their manipulation. Years of it. But now I had something they didn't. The truth, the power, and most importantly, time. Mom called down from upstairs. Savannah, can you bring me some tea? Coming, Mom. I gathered the documents, securing them in my laptop bag. As I prepared her tea, I smiled for the first time in months. They wanted to play games with money? Fine. But they forgot who taught me how to count. Randall's office smelled like old leather and coffee. He spread documents across his mahogany desk while I sat across from him, trying to process everything. Your siblings have been busy, he said, pointing to a transaction history. Jonas transferred most of his share into his photography business, which, by the way, hasn't filed taxes in 2 years. And Lily? He slid another paper forward. She's been shopping for a yacht. A yacht? I almost laughed. She gets seasick on ferry rides. It's about status. Randall leaned back. But here's where it gets interesting. They used your mother's accounts for personal expenses, claiming they were business investments. That's fraud. Mom doesn't want them prosecuted. No, but we can use it as leverage. First step, freeze their access to any remaining accounts. My phone buzzed. A text from Lily. Hey, tried to transfer Mom's prescription money, but the account's locked. What's going on? Don't respond yet, Randall advised. We need one more person on our team. Have you heard from Evan recently? My chest tightened. Evan? My ex? He's one of the best financial analysts in the state now. We need someone who can trace where all the money went. Before I could protest, Randall was dialing. The phone rang on speaker. Randall? Evan's voice filled the room. It's been a while. I have someone here who needs your help. Randall nodded to me. Hi, Evan. My voice came out smaller than I intended. Silence. Then, Savannah, is this about your mom? Sort of. It's about my siblings stealing her money. I'm free for lunch, he said without hesitation. The cafe on Pine, 1 hour. I looked at Randall, who nodded encouragingly. Okay. The cafe was busy when I arrived. Evan was already there, looking more polished than I remembered in his business suit. His face softened when he saw me. You look tired, he said as I sat down. Thanks. That's exactly what every woman wants to hear. He smiled. Still deflecting with humor, I see. Then his expression turned serious. Tell me everything. I did. The baby monitor revelation, the empty accounts, Mom's secret planning. Evan took notes on his tablet, asking occasional questions about dates and amounts. Your sister's yacht? He whistled. That's going to be easy to trace. And Jonas's photography business is a joke. He's been writing off personal expenses as business costs. Can you help? Already am. He turned his tablet toward me. I flagged their accounts for potential fraud. Any major purchases will trigger an automatic review. And that yacht? He smiled. The dealer just got an anonymous tip about checking their financing very carefully. My phone buzzed again. Jonas this time. Something wrong with my business account. Did you say anything to the bank? They're getting nervous, Evan observed. Good. Let them sweat. I don't want to destroy them, I said. I just want justice, consequences. Evan reached across the table, his hands stopping just short of mine. You were always too forgiving. Remember when Lily borrowed your car and crashed it? You helped her hide it from your parents. I was stupid. You were kind. There's a difference. He pulled back. But kindness doesn't mean being a doormat. My phone rang. Randall. The investment account is active, he said when I answered. $850,000, now under your complete control. Your mother just signed the final papers. Evan, hearing this, started typing on his tablet. I'm looking at it now. It's been growing for 20 years. Your mom was a financial genius. She was an accountant, I said, before she got sick. She was preparing for this exact moment, Randall added. The question is, what's our next move? I thought about Lily's BMW, bought with Mom's CD money, about Jonas's leased Mercedes and his tax-evading business, about all the nights I'd stayed awake with Mom while they were out spending her money. We let them keep what they stole, I said finally, but we make sure they can never touch another penny. How? Evan asked. By using their own greed against them. Randall, can you draft new trust documents? Make it look like Mom's planning to divide everything equally? Of course, but why? Because my siblings don't know about the investment account. Let them think they're getting a third each of nothing. Meanwhile, Evan caught on, we start flagging their suspicious transactions, trigger audits, make them scramble to hide what they've already taken. Exactly. I stood up. They wanted to play financial games. Let's see how they handle playing defense. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Mom. Did you meet with Randall? Yes, everything's ready. Good girl. Remember, patience before power. I looked at Evan and Randall, my unlikely revenge team. Let's get to work. The first crack in Lily's perfect facade appeared 3 days later. I was changing Mom's IV when my sister burst into the room, her designer heels clicking against the hardwood floor. What the hell is going on? She waved her phone in my face. My cards are being declined, all of them. I kept my eyes on Mom's IV. That sounds stressful. Don't play dumb. The bank's asking questions about unusual activity. Did you say something? Mom stirred in her bed. Lily, why are you shouting? I'm not shouting! Lily's voice rose higher. I'm trying to figure out why my accounts are frozen. Your accounts? I turned to face her. I thought they were Mom's accounts. Lily's face flushed. You know what I mean. The ones I'm managing for her. Managing? Mom's voice was quiet but clear. Is that what you call it? The room went silent. Lily's perfectly manicured hand gripped her phone tighter. Mom needs rest, I said firmly. We can discuss this downstairs. In the kitchen, Lily paced like a caged animal. Fix this. Now. Fix what? The accounts you drained? The money you stole? I didn't steal anything. I was protecting Mom's assets. My phone buzzed. A text from Jonas. My business account's locked. What did you do? Looks like Jonas is having similar problems, I said, showing Lily the message. This isn't funny, Savannah. I have payments due. The yacht. She stopped herself. The yacht? I raised an eyebrow. What yacht? The doorbell rang. Evan stood on the porch, laptop under his arm. Am I interrupting? Who's this? Lily demanded. Evan Rose, financial analyst. He set his laptop on the kitchen counter. I've been reviewing some interesting transactions. You have no right. Actually, I cut in, I have power of attorney now, which means I have every right. Lily's face went from red to white. Since when? Since Mom signed the papers last week. She was very clear-headed that day. Wasn't she, Evan? Crystal clear, he confirmed, opening his laptop. Now, about these transfers to offshore accounts. This is ridiculous! Lily grabbed her purse. I'm calling my lawyer. Good idea, I said. I'm sure they'd love to explain why you've been writing off personal expenses as business deductions, the BMW payments, for example. She froze at the door. You're bluffing. Am I? I pulled out my phone. Should we call the IRS and find out? The front door slammed so hard the windows rattled. Through the kitchen window, I watched Lily's BMW screech out of the driveway. That went well, Evan said, closing his laptop. My phone buzzed again. Jonas. Just got a call from the IRS. What's happening? Phase 1 complete, Evan smiled. Want to start Phase 2? I nodded, pulling up the browser on my phone. With a few clicks, I donated $5,000 to the rehabilitation center where Mom had recovered from her prescription dependency, the same place Lily had called a dump for addicts when Mom needed help. Anonymous donation? Evan asked. For now, but soon everyone will know exactly where Mom's money is going and where it isn't. Upstairs, Mom called out. I found her sitting up, more alert than she'd been in days. I heard Lily, she said. She's upset about some financial irregularities. Good. Mom patted the bed beside her. Did I ever tell you about the time Lily stole your college fund? What? You were 17? The money was supposed to be for your first year at state. She convinced me she needed it for her wedding, said she'd pay it back. Mom's laugh turned into a cough. She never did. Is that why you started the secret account? Partly. I knew someday they'd try to take everything. I just had to wait until they showed their true colors. She squeezed my hand. You were always the invisible one, Savannah. That made you dangerous. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Lily to both Jonas and me. Family meeting, tomorrow. This ends now. I showed Mom the message. She smiled. Perfect. Time for the next move. Which is, let them think they've cornered you. Let them make demands. Her eyes sparkled with a clarity I hadn't seen in months. Then show them exactly who they're dealing with. I texted back, sure, Mom's room, 2 p.m. You're enjoying this, Evan observed. No, I said, but I couldn't help smiling. Well, maybe a little. From upstairs, Mom called down, Savannah, bring my old accounting files when you come up, the ones marked Family Trust. I looked at Evan. Ready for tomorrow? He nodded. The question is, are they? The family meeting started exactly how I expected, with Lily making a scene. She's lost her mind, Lily announced to our assembled aunts and uncles on the video call. Savannah's trying to steal Mom's money. I sat quietly beside Mom's bed, letting Lily dig her own grave. Jonas paced by the window, checking his phone every few seconds. Sweetheart, Aunt Marie's voice crackled through the laptop speaker. What exactly is going on? Savannah's frozen all the accounts, Jonas jumped in. She's threatening to report us to the IRS. Report you for what? Uncle Dave asked. Silence. I cleared my throat. Maybe we should show everyone the bank statements? No! Lily and Jonas shouted simultaneously. Why not? I opened a folder. I have copies right here. Very interesting reading. You're manipulating everything. Lily pointed a manicured finger at me. Mom's too sick to understand what's happening. Savannah's taking advantage. Mom, who'd been silent until now, spoke up. Am I too sick to understand that you bought a yacht with my money, Lily? The video call went deadly quiet. Or that Jonas hasn't paid taxes on his photography business in 2 years, Mom continued, the business he funded with my retirement account? Mom, Jonas stepped forward. I can explain. Explain what? I pulled out more documents. The $45,000 you transferred to your personal account, or the $60,000 Lily took for her BMW? You don't understand, Lily's voice cracked. We were protecting the money from medical bills. By spending it on yourself? Aunt Marie's shock was visible even through the grainy video. Lily, how could you? Show them. Mom nodded to me. I held up bank statements to the camera. Here are the transfers, dates, amounts, account numbers, everything. Those are fake! Jonas lunged for the papers, but I moved faster. Really? I pulled up an email on my phone. Should I forward these to the family, including the text messages where you both bragged about cleaning out Mom's accounts? Lily's face crumpled. I needed that money. Do you know how expensive it is to maintain my lifestyle? Your lifestyle? Uncle Dave's voice boomed through the speaker. That was your mother's medical money. It was going to be mine anyway, Lily shouted, then froze, realizing what she'd said. The video call erupted in voices. Aunt Marie was crying. Uncle Dave was demanding answers. Our cousins were typing furious messages in the chat. "That's enough," Mom said quietly, but everyone fell silent. "Lily, Jonas, you've shown exactly who you are, not just to me, but to everyone." "Mom, please," Jonas started. "I've already changed my will," she continued, "and before either of you try to challenge it, remember, everything you took, every transfer, it's all documented. Do you really want that becoming public record?" Lily grabbed her purse. "This isn't over." "Actually," I stood up, "it is. The yacht dealer called. They're canceling the sale due to financial irregularities. And Jonas, the IRS wants to schedule an audit." Jonas slumped against the wall. "You can't do this." "I already did." I turned to the video call. "I'm sending everyone copies of the bank records, not for revenge, but for truth. They need to know who they're dealing with." "You self-righteous bitch!" Lily lunged at me, but Aunt Marie's voice stopped her. "Lily, one more step and I'm calling the police myself." Mom reached for my hand. "Savannah has power of attorney now. She's in charge of everything." "Everything?" Jonas whispered. "Everything," I confirmed, "including the trust you don't know about." Lily's mascara was running. "What trust?" "The one Mom set up years ago. The one you'll never see." I opened the door. "Now get out, both of you." They left, Lily's sobs echoing down the hallway. On the video call, our relatives were silent, processing everything. "I'm sorry you all had to see this," Mom said to the screen, but the truth needed to come out. One by one, our relatives expressed their support, their shock, their anger at Lily and Jonas. When we finally ended the call, Mom looked exhausted but satisfied. "You did well," she said. "I learned from the best." I adjusted her pillows. "Rest now." My phone buzzed with a text from Evan. "Just heard from the bank. Lily's trying to access the trust account." I smiled, typing back. "Let her try. The only thing she'll find is proof of everything she stole." Mom was already drifting off to sleep, but she mumbled, "Remember, sweetheart, the best revenge is making them face themselves," I finished. Outside, I heard Lily's BMW start up, then stall. Apparently, she couldn't even afford an oil change anymore. Karma really does come full circle. "Someone tried to access the trust account last night," Evan announced, setting his laptop on the hospital waiting room table. "From Jonas's IP address." I looked up from my coffee. "Did they get in?" "No, but they triggered our security protocol. The attempt was logged and sent directly to Randall." "Amateur hour," Audrey, Mom's nurse, said as she joined us. "Your brother doesn't sound very tech-savvy." "He's desperate," I replied. "The IRS froze his business accounts yesterday." My phone buzzed. "Jonas, we need to talk, now." "Don't respond," Evan advised, but another message came through. "Jonas, I have emails from Mom about the trust. Either we meet or everyone sees them." I showed Evan the messages. He frowned. "It's a bluff." "Maybe." I stood up. "But I want to hear what he has to say." The hospital cafeteria was nearly empty when Jonas arrived. His usually immaculate appearance was disheveled, his designer clothes wrinkled. "Show me the emails," I said as he sat down. "First we talk terms." His hands shook as he pulled out his phone. "I want my share of the trust." "What share? You stole your share already." "Don't play dumb, Savannah. Mom's hidden account, the big one." I leaned back. "Prove you know about it." He turned his phone toward me. There was indeed an email from Mom's account mentioning a trust worth nearly $1 million. "Interesting," I said. "When was that email sent?" "Last week. I had a friend recover deleted emails from Mom's account." "You hacked Mom's email?" "I did what I had to do!" He slammed his hand on the table, making other patients jump. "You think you're so perfect, so righteous, but you're stealing everything for yourself. Like you stole from Mom's retirement? That was different. I needed your photography equipment? Your Mercedes?" Tell me, Jonas, how many paying clients do you actually have? His face reddened. This isn't about my business. Actually, it is. I pulled out my own phone. Because that email, it's fake. Mom hasn't used that email account in 2 years, and your little hacking attempt just triggered a federal investigation into computer fraud. The color drained from his face. You're lying. Check your phone. As if on cue, his phone buzzed. His hands trembled as he read the message. He swallowed hard. That's from my lawyer. Apparently, hacking into email accounts is a serious crime, especially when combined with financial fraud. You set me up. No, Jonas, you did this to yourself. I stood up. Oh, and those business accounts you've been using to dodge taxes. The IRS has everything. Wait, he grabbed my arm. Please, I'll lose everything. Like Mom almost lost everything? I pulled away. The difference is she had me. Who do you have, Jonas? Evan was waiting outside the cafeteria. Everything okay? Fine, just watching karma in action. My phone buzzed again. Now it's Lily's turn. The text was from an unknown number. Meeting in Mom's room, 5 minutes. Don't make me come find you. Mom was awake when we arrived, with Lily already there, sitting primly in the visitor's chair. Hello, sister, Lily smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I've been having a lovely chat with Mom about family loyalty. Really? I checked Mom's vital signs on the monitor. How's the yacht shopping going? I've been doing some thinking, Lily continued as if I hadn't spoken. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. We're family, after all. Is this the part where you threaten me again? Threaten? No. She pulled out an envelope. This is a peace offering, a contract. We split everything 3 ways. The trust, the house, everything. Sign it, and all this ugliness goes away. Mom made a sound that might have been a laugh. What's funny, Mom? Lily asked. You still think you're in control. Mom's voice was weak, but clear. You never did understand the difference between love and leverage. What's that supposed to mean? I took the envelope from Lily's hand and tore it in half. It means no. You'll regret this. Lily stood up, her designer dress rustling. Both of you. Like we regret trusting you? I stepped closer. Or like you'll regret the tax audit that's coming. She froze at the door. What audit? The one triggered by your yacht application. Turns out your income doesn't match your spending. Funny how that works. After she stormed out, Mom reached for my hand. You got a letter today, she whispered, in my drawer. I found the envelope, opened it, and read aloud. Make sure they understand the difference between love and leverage. When did you write this? I asked. Years ago, when I first suspected what they might do. She smiled. I knew you'd understand when the time came. Outside, we heard Lily's BMW trying and failing to start again. Some lessons, it seems, are more expensive than others. Mom died on a Tuesday morning, peaceful in her sleep. I was holding her hand. Lily and Jonas arrived 20 minutes too late, their faces a mix of grief and calculation. We need to discuss arrangements, Lily said, not even waiting for the nurse to finish disconnecting the monitors. Already taken care of, I replied. Mom planned everything. Of course she did, Jonas muttered. With you. The funeral was small, elegant, and exactly as Mom wanted. I watched my siblings perform their roles perfectly, Lily dabbing her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, Jonas supporting her with a brotherly arm around her shoulders. Our relatives kept their distance from them, the recent revelations still fresh. The will reading is tomorrow, Randall told me after the service. Are you ready? Does it matter? Your mother thought it did. She was very specific about the timing. The next morning we gathered in Randall's office. Lily wore black Chanel, Jonas his best suit. They sat together on one side of the conference table, leaving me alone on the other. Our aunts and uncles joined via video call, their faces serious on the wall-mounted screen. Before we begin, Randall said, I want to confirm that everyone understands this reading is final and legally binding. Just get on with it, Lily snapped. Randall opened a thick envelope. Very well. This last will and testament was updated 3 weeks ago with your mother of sound mind and 2 witnesses present. Jonas shifted in his seat. 3 weeks ago? After the accounts were drained, I said quietly. Randall began reading. To my children, Lily and Jonas, who showed their true colors when they thought I was too weak to notice. Lily's face went white. Chuck, who stole from their dying mother and mocked their sister's sacrifice. Jonas started to stand, but Aunt Marie's voice cut through the video call. Sit down and listen. I leave you exactly what you deserve. Nothing. The room erupted. Lily jumped up, screaming about contesting the will. Jonas knocked over his chair. Due to documented financial abuse and fraud, Randall continued over the chaos, Lily and Jonas are hereby disinherited from all accounts, properties, and assets. You can't do this, Lily turned to me. She can't do this. To my daughter Savannah, Randall read on, who gave up everything to care for me, who showed wisdom beyond her years and strength beyond measure, I leave my entire estate, including all properties, accounts, and the family trust, valued at approximately $1 million total. Uncle Dave's voice boomed through the speakers. Well done, Sarah. Well done. This isn't fair. Jonas slammed his hand on the table. We're getting lawyers. I have documentation of every fraudulent transfer, Randall said calmly. Every stolen dollar, every forged document. Would you like those made public in court? Lily collapsed into her chair, mascara running. Mom wouldn't do this to us. Mom? I stood up. Mom gave you chances. She watched you drain her accounts. She let you show everyone exactly who you are. This isn't her doing this to you. You did this to yourselves. There's one more item, Randall said, regarding the family home. My siblings looked up hopefully. Savannah has full ownership, effective immediately. All current residents have 30 days to vacate. Vacate? Jonas went pale. But I've been living in the guest house. And I've been using Mom's studio, Lily added. Not anymore. I picked up my purse. I'll have the locks changed today. Where are we supposed to go? Lily's voice cracked. Maybe you can live on your yacht? I suggested. Oh, wait, it got repossessed. The video call erupted in muffled laughter. You're enjoying this, Jonas accused. No. I headed for the door. I'm just making sure Mom's last wishes are respected, something you never did. Outside Randall's office, Evan was waiting. How did it go? Exactly as Mom planned. I handed him a key. Would you help me change the locks? What about your sister's things? She has 30 days to get them. After that, they go to the women's shelter. Mom would have liked that. My phone buzzed with messages from relatives, support, congratulations, relief that justice was served. But one message stood out. From Mom's old number, scheduled to be sent after the will reading. The last chapter isn't about revenge, sweetheart. It's about peace. Find yours. I looked back through the office window. Lily and Jonas sat shell-shocked while Randall packed up his papers. They'd lost everything, money, status, family trust. But somehow, watching them, I felt no satisfaction. Just a quiet certainty that Mom's final lesson had been taught. Ready to go? Evan asked. Yes, I said. It's time to close this chapter. Behind us, I heard Lily's voice crack. What are we supposed to do now? For the first time in years, that wasn't my problem to solve. The last box from Mom's bedroom felt heavier than the others. Inside, beneath old photos and faded letters, I found her favorite scarf, the soft blue one she wore to my college graduation, the only one she'd attended. My phone buzzed, a text from Jonas. Please, just talk to me. I set the phone down without responding. Through the window, I watched the moving truck pull up to the guest house where he'd been living. He hadn't paid rent in 3 years. Need help? Evan appeared in the doorway, sleeves rolled up. Almost done. I wrapped the scarf around my neck. Just this last box. Lily stopped by the office today, he said, sitting on the edge of Mom's bed. Wanted me to look at her finances, see if there was any way to challenge the will. And I told her the truth. She's broke. The IRS audit revealed years of tax evasion. She's looking at serious penalties. The doorbell rang. Audrey stood on the porch with a casserole dish. Thought you might need dinner, she said, following me to the kitchen. Moving days are hard enough without all this family drama. Did you hear about Jonas? Evan asked her. The photography studio bankruptcy? Hard to miss. It's all over the local business news. My phone buzzed again. Lily this time. They're repossessing my car. I need help. Still not answering them? Audrey noticed me silence the phone. What's left to say? The sound of a car door slamming made us all look outside. Jonas stood in the driveway, watching the movers empty his living space. I should talk to him, I said. Want backup? Evan offered. No, this needs to be between us. Jonas looked older somehow, his designer clothes replaced by worn jeans and a faded t-shirt. They're taking everything, he said as I approached. You knew this was coming. I have nowhere to go. That's not true. I handed him a business card. This organization helps people get back on their feet. Real jobs, not fake photography studios. He stared at the card. Why are you helping me? Because Mom would want me to. But Jonas? I met his eyes. This is it, the last time I help. Lily's worse off than me, he said quietly. She's talking about moving in with her ex. The one who cheated on her? Karma's a bitch, right? He tried to smile but couldn't quite manage it. No, Jonas. Karma's just the bill coming due. Back inside, Evan and Audrey had set the table for dinner. The casserole steamed invitingly. One more thing before we eat, I said, pulling out Mom's laptop. I need to send an email. The message was simple. A donation to the elder care facility where Mom spent her final weeks, equal to the amount Lily and Jonas had stolen. In the dedication field I wrote, "In memory of Sarah Bell, who taught us that justice and mercy can coexist." Your mom would be proud, Audrey said, reading over my shoulder. Would she? Sometimes I think I was too harsh. Harsh? Evan raised an eyebrow. You could have had them arrested. Instead, you let them keep what they stole and gave them a chance to rebuild. Speaking of rebuilding, Audrey nodded toward the window. Jonas was still in the driveway, on his phone. From his expression, the conversation wasn't going well. Lily, I guessed. Probably, Evan agreed. I heard she's been calling everyone for money. Let her call. I closed the laptop. Some lessons have to hurt to matter. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Randall. Your mother left one last thing. Come by tomorrow? Want company? Evan asked. No. I touched Mom's scarf. I think I know what it is. We ate dinner together, talking about everything except family. Outside, the moving truck pulled away, leaving Jonas standing alone in the growing darkness. He looked up at the house once, then walked to his car. Not the Mercedes anymore, just a basic sedan. You know what Mom used to say about revenge? I asked as he drove away. What's that? Audrey passed me more casserole. That it's like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. I smiled. But justice? Justice is like medicine. It might taste bitter, but it heals everyone eventually. Even them? Evan gestured toward the empty guest house. Especially them. I touched the scarf again. They just don't know it yet. The house felt different now. Lighter somehow, as if years of hidden resentments had finally lifted. Tomorrow, I'd see what final lesson Mom had left for me. But tonight, sitting with true friends who'd helped me through the darkest days, I realized something. Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's who you choose to become. And I'd finally chosen well.
Hi, I'm Ashley. You know those moments that shift the ground beneath you, where nothing is ever the same again? Mine happened in the delivery room. But let me back up. I'm a marketing executive at a tech firm. 3 years ago, I married Derek, a successful real estate agent. On paper, our life was perfect. Then I got pregnant. Ashley, dear, you really should be drinking my special pregnancy tea. It's a family tradition. Sandra, my mother-in-law, she had a habit of appearing unannounced ever since we shared the news. Every visit came with unsolicited advice wrapped in a thin veil of concern. Mom's right, Ashley. Why are you being so difficult? Karen, my sister-in-law, Sandra's ever-loyal shadow. They were a team, dissecting every decision I made. My diet, my exercise, even the nursery colors. Derek, he'd just stand there, wearing that same apologetic smile. They mean well, honey. It's just their way of showing they care. Maya, my best friend, saw right through it. Over our weekly coffee dates, decaf for me, she didn't hold back. Jazz, they're controlling her entire pregnancy. And Derek's letting them. I kept telling myself I could handle it, that it was easier to keep the peace. But as my due date loomed, the pressure mounted. Sandra insisted on being in the delivery room. I was there for all 3 of Karen's deliveries. It's tradition. I hesitated. Derek didn't. That look, the one that meant just give in, was all it took. Then the day came. 14 hours of labor, pain ripping through me, and Sandra, recording every moment on her phone. Smile, Ashley. This is a joyous occasion. Her voice felt like nails on glass. My body was breaking, and she was treating it like a spectacle. That's when I met Anna, my nurse, my lifeline. She saw my distress immediately. Mrs. Anderson, perhaps we should give Ashley some space. Sandra waved her off. Nonsense. Ashley needs family support. Another contraction. My fingers dug into the rails. A deep, guttural groan escaped me. And then, Mom's right. You're embarrassing us. Derek's voice, sharp, cold. Then his hand. The crack of skin against skin echoed through the room. Everything stopped. Anna gasped. Even Sandra lowered her phone. Maya, who had just walked in, froze, then dropped her coffee, the cup shattering against the tile. And then chaos. The emergency button. Security. Maya's voice, lethal with fury. Get them out. All of them. As they were dragged from the room, I caught Derek's expression. Not guilt. Not regret. Just anger. And that's when I knew nothing would ever be the same again. But it wasn't just the slap. It was the years of control, the manipulation, the silence. Through my tears, I made a promise to my unborn child. This wouldn't be our life. Derek had just given me everything I needed to change it. The next hour was a blur of activity. Anna, my nurse, carefully photographed my bruised cheek while another staff member documented my statement. We have security footage of the delivery room, she whispered, squeezing my hand. Don't worry about proof. In the corner, Maya was already making calls. Marcus, get here. Now, I don't care if you have to break every speed limit. My brother. My protector. He was on his way. 2 states away meant nothing. Beyond the door, Sandra's shrill voice cut through the air. It was just stress. You're making this into something it's not. The hospital administrator's voice was firm. Mrs. Anderson, your son committed assault in our delivery room. This is no longer a family matter. Derek tried to come back in 3 times. First, with flowers. Baby, I'm so sorry. You know I didn't mean it. Then, with tears. Please don't do this to our family. Finally, with threats. You're being hysterical. No one will believe you over me. Each time, security escorted him out. Maya filmed every attempt. Anna logged every word. Jennifer arrived before Marcus, my college roommate turned powerhouse family lawyer. She took one look at my face and switched into professional mode. The hospital is pressing charges no matter what you decide, but we need to talk about your options. She was laying out a legal strategy when Marcus burst in, still in his suit from the boardroom he had abandoned. His jaw was tight, his movements controlled. Where is he? His voice was dangerously calm. Jennifer stepped in. Your sister needs legal protection, not revenge. Marcus didn't argue. He started pacing, making calls. His company's legal team was already drafting documents. Meanwhile, Maya was gathering evidence. Old social media posts, carefully curated by Sandra, were now telling a much different story. Then Karen slipped in. "Ashley, please, you're tearing our family apart. Derek's never been violent before. It was just the stress of becoming a father." Marcus turned, eyes sharp. "The stress of becoming a father." He stepped between us. "My sister is the one in labor. Get out." Maya's voice was cold. "Before I show everyone the video of you laughing after he hit her." Security removed Karen as another contraction hit. Through the pain, I could hear Derek outside, performing for the nurses. "I'm just so worried about my wife and baby." She's not thinking clearly. Anna checked my progress while Jennifer laid out our next steps. The hospital's report, the security footage, the witness statements, an ironclad case. But there was more than one way to destroy a man like Derek. Marcus nodded. "His reputation is his career. By the time we're done, no one will buy a house from him." 2 weeks after Emma was born, our plan went into motion. The unedited hospital footage, Sandra's carefully cropped clips replaced with the full version, including Derek's threats, somehow found its way onto the real estate board's private server. Maya smirked. Right before his biggest listing presentation of the year, Marcus's tech team ensured the video landed in every board member's inbox. I was feeding Emma when my phone exploded with notifications. Karen had rushed to Derek's defense online, inadvertently confirming the video's authenticity. Within hours, local news picked up the story. Prominent realtor assaults wife during childbirth. And then came Sandra's final act. Emma's first checkup, the pediatrician's office. She ambushed us in the waiting room, eyes wild, voice shaking with fury. "After everything we'd done for you, Derek built your perfect life." Anna, now a close friend, was working that day. She caught everything on video, including Sandra lunging for Emma's carrier. The police arrived just as Sandra shrieked, "You'll never survive without our family's connections." Marcus stepped forward, unshaken. "My sister's doing just fine. Your son is the one who should worry about survival." And for once, Sandra had no response. Derek's downfall wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was a quiet, inevitable collapse, one he never saw coming. His brokerage placed him on leave, citing the ongoing investigation. 3 major clients severed ties publicly. His once polished social media presence turned against him as old posts resurfaced. Subtle put-downs, controlling comments, the red flags we had all ignored. The final blow came from an unexpected source. His former assistant sent an email to his entire client list. If he hid his wife in a delivery room full of witnesses, imagine what happened behind closed doors. That night, as Emma slept beside me and Maya and Anna set dinner on the table, I felt peace. Not satisfaction, not triumph, just peace. Marcus and Jennifer arrived with legal updates, and in that moment I realized something profound. I hadn't just escaped Derek's family, I had built my own. 6 months later, we gathered in court one last time. Derek's lawyer looked beaten before the hearing even began. The video evidence, the witness testimonies, the documented pattern of abuse. There was no room for negotiation. Full custody granted to the mother, the judge declared. Supervised visitation only, pending completion of anger management and therapy. Derek sat there, his designer suit suddenly ill-fitting, his empire in ruins, his real estate license revoked. The family firm, hemorrhaging clients, his own sister, finally breaking ranks. Karen had visited me the week before, looking older, worn down by the truth. "I'm sorry, Ashley. I should have seen it sooner." She testified against him, recalling incidents she had ignored. One by one, the cracks shattered Sandra's perfect family narrative. As for Sandra, her social circle evaporated overnight. No more charity board positions. No more country club committees. Funny how quickly pillars of the community crumble when their foundations rot. Derek, he left the state, trying to rebuild. Sandra still sends cards to Emma. They go straight into the documentation file. Karen's new business is thriving, proof that cutting out toxicity helps everyone grow. And me? I'm raising my daughter in a home built on love, surrounded by people who value kindness over control. Emma will grow up knowing that a perfect family isn't measured by social media posts, but by respect and support. Watching her giggle in Marcus's arms, I smiled, a real, unforced smile. Because sometimes the happy ending isn't what you imagined. Sometimes it's better. What would you have done if your mother-in-law demanded you smile for social media while in active labor? And what should the consequences be for a man who assaults his wife during childbirth? Is losing his career and social standing enough, or should there be more? Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Anderson. I'm 28 years old and a nurse at Memorial Hospital. And this is the story of how my mother-in-law nearly destroyed my life. 2 years ago, I married Tom, the man I thought was my soulmate. We met in the ER when he came in with a minor injury from a construction site accident. He's an architect, you see. Our wedding was beautiful, despite his mother, Catherine, criticizing every detail. Darling, you really should have chosen the other venue I suggested. This one's so modest, she had said, her smile dripping with condescension. It was one of many backhanded compliments to come. At first, life was good. Tom's career was taking off, and we bought a charming house just 20 minutes from a hospital. But Catherine, who lived just 10 minutes away, began showing up unannounced. Oh, I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd drop by. Tom works so hard, he needs proper care, she would say while casually inspecting my housekeeping. It was my best friend, Sarah, who first voiced what I was too exhausted to admit. Julia, don't you think Catherine's getting a little too involved? She asked over coffee one afternoon. Sarah, a lawyer with an analytical mind, picked up on things I tried to ignore. Tom's sister, Anne, would shoot me sympathetic looks at family dinners, but she never spoke up. Not when Catherine criticized my cooking. Not when she made passive-aggressive comments about my work schedule. A wife should be home more, Catherine would say, knowing full well I worked long hospital shifts. Then she started interfering with our finances. Tom's sweetheart, that investment I told you about, my friend's son tripled his money. The next thing I knew, Tom had drained our house renovation fund. Meanwhile, Catherine made sure we rarely saw my parents, conveniently scheduling urgent family gatherings on the same nights as my parents' Sunday dinners. But it's my dad's birthday, I protested. Mom's already planned something, Tom replied, avoiding my eyes. You need to set boundaries, my mother warned me one evening when I managed to visit alone. This isn't normal, honey. I started to see it then, the pattern, the control. But I wasn't prepared for how much worse it would get. One night, after a brutal family dinner where Catherine had torn apart everything from my career to my housekeeping, Anne found me crying in the kitchen. I'm so sorry, Julia, she whispered. She's always been like this. I wish I was braver, but... Her voice trailed off as the sound of heels echoed down the hallway. What are you girls whispering about? Catherine appeared, her perfectly painted smile not reaching her eyes. Tom's looking for you, Julia. He needs to discuss that charity gala donation I suggested. We can't afford that right now, I started. Nonsense, she said, waving a manicured hand. Tom knows what's best for his career. Don't be so controlling, dear. I watched as my husband signed another check, right after telling me we had to postpone our vacation due to budget constraints. Sarah's words from earlier that week rang in my mind. This isn't just about money, Julia. She's isolating you. Classic manipulation tactics. I wish I had truly listened then, because what came next was far worse. It started with a fever, a cough. Working in a hospital during flu season, I wasn't surprised when I got sick. But this was different. Within days, my condition worsened into severe pneumonia. You need rest and these antibiotics, Dr. Martinez told me firmly. Take them exactly as prescribed. That was the moment Catherine announced she was renovating her house and moved in with us. Don't worry, dear. I'll take care of everything. You just rest. Too sick to fight back, I let exhaustion and medication pull me under. Time blurred. But one morning, as I reached for my pills, they were gone. Those harsh chemicals will only make you weaker, Catherine tetted. Here, drink this herbal tea. It's what I gave Tom when he was little. Panic gripped my chest. But I need my prescription. My voice was barely a whisper. I need my prescription. Catherine's expression didn't change. Instead, she sighed dramatically. Nonsense. You're just being overly dramatic. A good wife powers through illness. Days blurred together. My chest felt like it was filled with concrete, every breath a struggle. Through the haze, I heard voices outside my room. Mom says she's just milking it for attention, Tom muttered. I've seen cases like this, Tom. Some women just aren't strong enough for marriage. Remember your cousin's wife? One night, my fever raged, my body burning and trembling under the blankets. That's when Catherine entered my room. She leaned in close, her voice a deadly whisper. Listen here, you pathetic little thing. You have 3 choices. Toughen up, die, or divorce my son. He deserves better than a weak wife who can't even handle a little cold. I tried calling out for Tom. No answer. He'd taken sleeping pills. Catherine's suggestion. Of course, to help him rest despite my constant coughing. Thank God for Sarah's daily check-ins. When I didn't respond for 24 hours, she used her spare key to get inside. Jesus Christ, Julia, her voice cut through the fog. Where are your meds? She's burning up. The next thing I knew, I was in the hospital. Familiar doctors and nurses hovered over me, their expressions grim. Severe pneumonia, dangerous progression. Where was the prescription? Sarah was there when I woke up properly. Her face was tight with fury. They found your pills, she told me, voice shaking. Hidden in Catherine's guest room, mixed in with her stuff. From the hallway, I heard Catherine's voice, smooth, measured, full of fake concern. My son's wife is clearly unstable, imagining things in her delirium. Tom, you need to consider your options, she added, her voice dripping with manipulation. And then, the final betrayal. Mom's right, Julia, Tom said, his voice dull. You're not thinking clearly. She's been taking care of you. I forced myself to sit up, every muscle screaming in protest. Taking care of me? My voice was raw. I almost died. See how hysterical she's being. Catherine cooed. Tom, darling, she's so unwell. Something inside me snapped. Get out, I rasped. They stared at me. Both of you, get out. Tom's face twisted in something like pain. You're choosing this drama over family. Family? I choked out a bitter laugh. She hid my medication. I could have died. Tom's jaw clenched. I won't let you talk about my mother that way. She only wants what's best. I turned to Sarah. Get me the discharge papers. I'm not staying here with them. As they wheeled me out, Catherine's sickly sweet voice followed. Poor thing. Having a mental breakdown. Good thing you have me, Tom. That was the day I moved in with Sarah. The day I realized the woman who had tried to kill me was still controlling my husband, and he couldn't or wouldn't see it. But living with Sarah cleared my head. As my strength returned, we started piecing together Catherine's web of manipulation. One night, Sarah pulled out a legal pad. Every incident, no matter how small, we need to document everything. My phone buzzed. A message from Anne. Can we meet? Somewhere private? There's something you need to know. We met at a cafe across town. Anne's hands trembled around her coffee cup. Dad's death, she whispered. It wasn't a heart attack like Mom claimed. I found his old medical records. He was perfectly healthy. Cold dread crawled up my spine. What are you saying? Anne swallowed hard. The night before he died, they fought. About her control. Next morning, he just didn't wake up. I stared at her, my blood turning to ice. The investigation was rushed. Mom knew the right people. More messages poured in. A former daughter-in-law of Catherine's reached out through social media. She pulled the same stunts with me. Natural remedies when I got sick after my baby. I barely survived. Another woman, once married to Catherine's nephew. She turned my husband against me too. 2 more, both previously married to Catherine's brothers. One had even been institutionalized after Catherine convinced everyone she was mentally unstable. Meanwhile, Catherine wasn't done with me yet. Your wife is unstable, emotionally manipulative, she told Tom's coworkers. Soon, they started avoiding me at social functions. Later, we discovered her little lunch dates with the partners' wives, spreading poison, planting doubt. Then Anne called one night, her voice shaking. She's been moving money around. I found Dad's original will. Tom's inheritance, she's been controlling it, making him dependent. Offshore accounts, hidden assets, decades of control. But despite everything, I threw myself into work. My colleagues knew the real me. They saw my dedication. Congratulations, head nurse Anderson. The promotion came through, My team celebrated in the break room, cutting into a cake someone had made. Then my phone rang. Tom, your wife's success reflects poorly on you, I heard Catherine say in the background. A husband should be the primary achiever. She's emasculating you. The next morning, a text from Tom. I want a divorce. Mom's lawyer will contact you. Sarah scanned the message. She's pushing him to file first. Makes you look like the guilty party. Then more revelations. She's been badmouthing you to the hospital board, Sarah said, trying to sabotage your promotion. She did the same with me, Anne admitted. Any time I showed independence, she tore me down. But watching what she did to you, I can't stay silent anymore. Then Tom's company launched an investigation. Catherine's networking had gone too far. She was no longer just the overbearing mother-in-law. She was a liability. But she wasn't done. My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. The voice on the other end of the call was calm, measured. I was their family lawyer, the man said. I can't stay silent anymore. What happened to Mr. Peters? Catherine's involvement. I've carried this guilt too long. Anne sent more documents that evening. Bank statements, letters, evidence of a pattern spanning decades. Catherine hadn't just controlled people. She had controlled their futures, their finances, their very existence. The next day, she cornered me outside the hospital. Her voice was venom. You'll regret this. I met her gaze, unshaken. Your threats don't work anymore. She stepped closer. No one leaves my son. No one exposes my family. I smiled coldly. I'm not dying or divorcing on your terms. She didn't realize it yet, but her empire was already crumbling. And then it all unraveled, faster than anyone expected. Her attempt to transfer Tom's inheritance using forged signatures triggered an internal review. The bank manager's voice was sharp when he called her in. Mrs. Peters, these signatures don't match our records. That was all it took, a single spark to ignite the wildfire. Mark Davidson, a detective whose wife had suffered under Catherine's manipulation years ago, reopened the investigation into Tom's father's death. The toxicology report was buried, he told me. But I found it. Traces of an untraceable poison, similar to 3 other cases I've been tracking. Anne burst into my office one afternoon, her face pale, hands clutching a thick stack of papers. Insurance policies, she said, breathless. Mom's been running a scam for years. Taking out policies on family members. Collecting when they mysteriously got sick or died. The prestigious country club revoked her membership. Charity boards cut ties. Former friends crossed the street to avoid her. And then there was Tom. He showed up at Sarah's door, his face gaunt, shoulders slumped. I've been such a fool, he whispered. All these years, watching her destroy everyone. And I let her. I met his eyes, steady and firm. It's too late, Tom. I've moved on. Catherine's arrest made the local headlines. Insurance fraud. Financial manipulation. The investigation into her husband's death ongoing. At the sentencing, Sarah leaned in, whispering, 5 years minimum. All her assets frozen. I heard she ended up in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment on the wrong side of town. Her social circle reduced to suspicious neighbors who had Googled her name. Tom sent a letter through his therapist. I failed you. I failed everyone by enabling her. I'm getting help, but I know it doesn't change the past. Anne and I meet for coffee regularly now. She's thriving, running her own business, finally free. Sometimes I drive by her apartment, she admitted one afternoon. She just sits at the window, watching people live their lives. My promotion to director of nursing came with a corner office. That's where I met James, the new hospital administrator. No manipulation, no power plays, just genuine connection. Last week, I received the Healthcare Leadership Award. As I walked to the podium, I spotted Catherine standing in the back. Uninvited. Aged years in mere months. Success is the best revenge, I said in my speech. But healing is the greatest victory. James squeezed my hand. Sarah cheered from the audience. Anne beamed with pride. I heard Catherine slip out during the standing ovation. Back to her empty apartment, her empire reduced to silence. That night, surrounded by friends and love, I realized she hadn't broken me. She had revealed my strength. I didn't just survive. I thrived. Let her watch from her window as life moves on without her. Because my story isn't about her anymore. It's about rising above toxicity, breaking the cycle of abuse, choosing joy. Tom sent one final text. You deserve better. I'm glad you found it. He was right. I found myself, and that's worth more than revenge ever could be. What would you do if you discovered someone you loved had been manipulated into enabling abuse? Would you give them a second chance, like Tom wanted? Or would you stand firm and walk away like I did? Sometimes love isn't enough when trust is shattered beyond repair. If my story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about overcoming toxic relationships and finding your strength. Together, we can help others recognize the warning signs of manipulation before it's too late. Stay strong. Stay true to yourself. Hi, I'm Amy, and trust me, you won't want to miss how this story ends. 3 years ago, life was perfect. I had just landed my dream job as a senior software engineer at Tech Solutions, married my college sweetheart, Derek, and moved into our dream house in the suburbs. My brother James loved teasing me about living the so-called American dream. Look at my baby sister killing it. Next thing you know, it'll be a white picket fence and 2.5 kids. Very funny, James. Maybe focus on your own love life for once. My best friend Sarah was just as thrilled. During our usual coffee catch-up, she gushed over my wedding photos for the 100th time. Girl, you and Derek looked absolutely perfect together. Barbara, my mother-in-law, was just as pleased, though with her, it was more about Derek. Amy, darling, you must let Derek handle the finances. Men are just better with numbers. I nearly choked on my coffee. Barbara, I literally write code for banking systems. Thank God for Emma, Derek's sister. She rolled her eyes. Mom, stop. Amy's probably better with money than all of us combined. If only I had seen the warning signs sooner. It started small. Derek questioning my purchases despite the fact that I earned more than him. $150 at Target. What could you possibly need? Groceries, and some office supplies for work. You should run these things by me first. Then came the joint account drama. We should combine everything. That's what married couples do. I agreed, partially. We merged our regular checking accounts, but I kept my personal savings separate. That's when things got weird. He started checking our joint account daily, questioning every transaction. One night, after a brutal day at work, I caught him going through my phone. What are you doing? Just trying to find that receipt you mentioned on your banking app. Even Sarah noticed the shift. Amy, is everything okay? Derek seems different. He's just stressed about work. Are you sure that's all it is? I hesitated before finally confiding in her. I've been putting aside 20% of my salary. Just in case. Smart girl. Does Derek know? No, and I'd like to keep it that way. Emma picked up on it too. During a family dinner, she pulled me aside while Derek was deep in conversation with Barbara. Hey, you okay? I've noticed Derek's been weird about money lately. That obvious. Let's just say I recognize the behavior. Keep your guard up, okay? I had no idea how much worse things were about to get. But at least I had my safety net, $50,000 tucked away where Derek couldn't touch it. Sometimes a little paranoia pays off. Then came the night that changed everything. A quiet Sunday dinner, lasagna fresh out of the oven. And then Derek dropped the bomb. We need to talk about combining all our accounts. We already discussed this. My savings stay separate. Come on, Amy. Don't you trust me? I'm your husband. This isn't about trust. It's about independence. His fist hit the table, making the silverware clatter. Independence? We're married. There's no such thing as separate money. Lower your voice. What's really going on here? His eyes darkened. I need access to that account. Now. Something in his voice sent a chill down my spine. Why, Derek? What's so urgent? My savings. That's when he confessed. I owe some people money. Important people. My stomach dropped. What people? How much? He hesitated. About 70,000. The air left my lungs. Gambling. Just give me your savings. I can win it back. I stared at him. You're insane if you think. I never finished the sentence. The plate flew past my head, shattering against the wall. A sharp sting. Warmth trickled down my cheek. I stood frozen. Blood dripped onto my shirt. Derek's eyes widened. Look what you made me do. If you just cooperate. I bolted. Straight to the bathroom. Locked the door with shaking hands and dialed Sarah. I need help. Can you come get me? Amy? What happened? Are you okay? He threw a plate at me. I'm bleeding. Her voice turned sharp. Take pictures. Document everything. I'm on my way. But before Sarah arrived, someone else did. Barbara. Derek must have called her. She banged on the door. Amy, open this door. Stop being dramatic. Dramatic? He could have killed me. If you weren't so selfish with your money, this wouldn't have happened. Emma's voice cut through. Mom, stop. Amy, it's me and Sarah. Please open up. I cracked the door just enough for Sarah to slip inside. She didn't hesitate. Her phone was out, snapping pictures of my face. Emma whispered urgently. Listen to me. His ex-wife, Jenny, she didn't leave him for another man like he claimed. He drained her accounts, destroyed her credit. She had to move back in with her parents. I swallowed hard. Sarah helped me clean up while I called James. What do you mean he threw a plate at you? I'll kill him. No, James. I need somewhere to stay. Pack a bag. I'm coming to get you. Sarah glanced at me. He's still out there. Emma and I will handle Derek. You slip out through the bathroom window. James can pick you up at the corner. From the kitchen, Derek and Barbara's voices grew louder. She's overreacting. I didn't mean to. Shut up, Derek. You're lucky if she doesn't press charges. I reached under the sink, grabbing the emergency bag Sarah had insisted I pack months ago. Passport, cash, essentials. My hands trembled as I unlatched the window. Your sister always was a gold digger, Barbara spat at Emma. Our brother-in-law is an abusive gambling addict, and you're defending him. Their voices faded as I climbed out. James was waiting, engine running. Get in, you're staying with me until this is sorted out. As we pulled away, my phone vibrated nonstop. Derek. Baby, I'm sorry. Please come back. We can work this out. I turned off my phone. There was no going back. At James's house, my hands shook as I logged into our bank accounts. No. That's impossible. James peered over my shoulder. What's wrong? He cleaned out everything. Our joint savings, checking, even our vacation fund. Almost 40 grand. Gone. James grabbed his phone. I'm calling the police. 2 officers arrived within the hour. Officer Martinez took photos of my face while Officer Chen asked questions. When exactly did the incident occur? Around 6. I have photos, time-stamped. Then Sarah and Emma arrived, bringing something else with them. Emma pulled out her phone. I've been documenting Derek's behavior for months. Screenshots, weird messages, recordings of him yelling about money. And look at this. Jenny sent me everything. Bank statements, credit reports, all showing the same pattern of financial abuse. Sarah turned to the officers. Can we submit these as evidence? Officer Chen nodded. Absolutely. This helps establish a pattern. Then my phone buzzed. Barbara. How dare you humiliate my son like this? He provides everything for you, you ungrateful little. Emma scoffed. Mom's telling everyone you're a money-hungry liar trying to ruin Derek's life. She's even calling your job. What? My stomach twisted. Sarah didn't hesitate. I'm calling Mark from HR. 20 minutes later, Mark confirmed new security measures. Derek won't get near you at work. His photo is already distributed to security. You take all the paid leave you need. Work remotely. We've got your back. Officer Martinez returned with paperwork. Here's your temporary restraining order. He can't come within 500 feet of you or your workplace. What about the money he stole? Document everything for your divorce lawyer. Sarah smirked. Already handled. My cousin Anna is the best divorce attorney in the state. She's meeting us tomorrow. Then another text from Derek. You're really getting the cops involved. After everything I've done for you, you're nothing without me. Emma's phone pinged. Jenny says he did the same thing to her. First the control, then the violence. She's willing to testify. James paced, furious. He's been sending me threats too. Says he'll find you no matter what. Officer Chen nodded. Save everything. Each threat strengthens your case. Sarah wrapped an arm around me. We're not letting him get away with this. Officer Martinez spoke. The hearing for a permanent restraining order is next week. Between the photos, witness statements, and his threats, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. Then Emma's phone pinged again. Great, Mom's telling the whole family you're having a mental breakdown and Derek's the real victim. Sarah rolled her eyes. Let her talk. We have actual evidence. I caught my bruised reflection in the window. 3 years of marriage, ending like this. But as I looked at the people rallying around me, I realized something. I wasn't alone. And Derek? He had no idea what was coming. I was finally settling into my new routine at James's house when, bang, bang, bang. The pounding at the door jolted me awake. 2 a.m. Amy, I know you're in there. Just give me 5 minutes. James grabbed his phone. I'm calling 911. You're ruining everything. Derek's voice was raw, desperate. All I need is the money to fix this. Headlights flooded the driveway. Sarah's car. She had been staying over that week. She stepped out, voice sharp. Step away from the door, Derek. Cops are already on their way. Derek spun toward her, rage twisting his face. You turned my wife against me, you meddling. Then, sirens. 2 patrol cars screeched to a halt. Hands where we can see them. They cuffed him just as Barbara's car screeched to a stop. What are you doing to my son? She shrieked, stumbling out. Amy, stop this madness. Officer Chen stepped between us. Ma'am, step back. Your son violated a restraining order. Derek thrashed as they loaded him into the squad car. Amy, you can't do this to me. But I already had. The courthouse. The next morning, Anna laid out our case with ruthless efficiency: assault, harassment, financial abuse, violating a court order. He's looking at serious time. Barbara cornered me outside the courtroom, her voice low and urgent. He's your husband, Amy. You can't do this to him. I met her gaze. Like he did to Jenny. Her lips thinned. That was different. Emma stepped between us. Save it, Mom. I'm testifying against him today. Inside, Emma's words cut like knives. He bragged about bankrupting Jenny, said any woman who wouldn't share her money didn't deserve to keep it. Derek's face turned purple. You're my sister. How could you? Emma didn't even blink. You threw a plate at her head. How could you? The judge wasn't impressed by Derek's tantrum. Mr. Thompson, control yourself or I'll have you removed. By afternoon, the verdict was in. Derek got 18 months for assault and violating the restraining order. His company fired him the same day. Turns out, they had a zero-tolerance policy for domestic violence convictions. Outside the courthouse, Barbara made one last attempt. He's getting help. Anger management, gambling addiction therapy. Just talk to him. I smiled coldly. Like Jenny talked to him. No thanks. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. Anna shredded his pathetic attempts to claim my savings, the separate account, never marital property, and with the documented abuse, I got everything. The house, my full savings, half of what he stole from our joint accounts. Sarah hosted a freedom party at her place. James, Emma, even Jenny came. Sarah lifted her glass to Amy, who saved herself and got justice. Jenny hugged me tight. Thank you for doing what I couldn't. You survived him. That's what matters. Emma glanced at her phone and laughed. Mom's posting Bible quotes about forgiveness again. James smirked. How's Derek enjoying prison? His cellmate doesn't appreciate his temper tantrums as much as Mom did. Laughter filled the room, warm and unshakable. I looked around at the people who stood by me. My brother, who gave me shelter. My best friend, who never doubted me. My sister-in-law, who chose truth over family loyalty. Jenny, whose warning helped save me. I couldn't have done this without you all. Sarah refilled our glasses to freedom, justice, and keeping our own damn money. As we toasted, I felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. Derek thought he'd break me, but all he did was make me stronger. And my savings? Still growing, still mine, and now completely untouchable. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well. With a restraining order and a great support system. What would you do? If you discovered your spouse was tracking your finances and hiding a gambling addiction, how would you handle it? Was Amy right to keep her savings account secret from the beginning, or should married couples always have complete financial transparency? Let's talk in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to hear more real stories about overcoming toxic relationships. Hi, I'm Laura. Today, I'm going to tell you my story. Have you ever felt like life was finally perfect, only for someone to come along and fix what wasn't broken? That was me, 6 months ago. I had just married James, the love of my life. I had landed a promotion as a marketing executive at a prestigious firm. We'd moved into our dream home in the suburbs. Everything was falling into place. Then came the dinner invitations. "Honey, Mom and Dad are coming over again tonight," James said, poking his head into my home office as I polished my presentation. "Again? That's the third time this week. Dad just misses me, that's all." I knew exactly what Frank, my father-in-law, missed: control. He had opinions about everything, particularly about a woman's place in the home. That evening, his voice boomed through the kitchen the moment he arrived. "Laura, darling, working late again." He shook his head in mock disapproval. "Tisk, tisk." "Actually, I just got promoted," I said, forcing a smile. "James, son, how do you survive on takeout?" Frank went on, shaking his head. "When your mother and I were newlyweds, she always had dinner ready by 6. Margaret, my mother-in-law, gave me a weak smile. "Frank," she murmured, "Laura has a demanding job." "Too demanding, if you ask me," Frank scoffed. "A wife's priority should be her home." I felt James tense beside me, but he busied himself unpacking the takeout containers, anything to avoid confrontation. "My career is important to me, Frank," I said, keeping my voice steady. "James and I share responsibilities." Frank let out a low chuckle. "That's not how I raised my son." The doorbell rang, and James's sister, Emma, strolled in, perfectly timed as always. "Dad's right, Laura," she chimed. "I manage my boutique part-time so I can maintain a proper home." "Didn't your mother teach you traditional values?" "My mother taught me to be independent." "Which is admirable," Frank cut in. "But now you're a wife. Different priorities." I caught Margaret's gaze, but she quickly looked down at her plate. Then Frank cleared his throat. "Speaking of priorities, Margaret and I have an announcement." James perked up. "What kind of announcement?" "Our house is undergoing renovations," Frank said, locking eyes with me. "It'll take a few months, so we'll need a place to stay." My stomach dropped. "We have plenty of room," James said, already nodding enthusiastically. "Right, honey?" I turned to Frank just in time to catch his satisfied smirk. The perfect storm was brewing in my perfect life, and something told me it was about to get a whole lot worse. Emma clapped her hands. "Oh, this is wonderful. Now Dad can teach you how to be a proper wife, Laura." The takeout in my stomach turned to lead. Margaret wouldn't meet my eyes. James was beaming. And Frank? He was watching me like a cat that had just cornered its prey. I forced a tight smile. This should be interesting. If only I had known then just how interesting it would get, I might have run for the hills that very night. The first week with Frank and Margaret felt like walking on eggshells, ones rigged with landmines. Every morning, I found Frank at the kitchen table, newspaper in hand, disapproval practically radiating from his pores. "Another early meeting, Laura?" he asked one day, lowering his paper as I grabbed my travel mug. "It's barely 7 a.m. That's corporate life for you." A wife rushing out before making her husband breakfast, he mused. Times sure have changed. I caught Margaret hovering near the stove, already dressed to clean. "I'll take care of breakfast, dear," she said softly. "James won't go hungry." Frank gave a satisfied nod. "See, your mother-in-law understands family values." That evening, I came home to find Emma in my kitchen, stirring something that smelled incredible. Frank beamed at her like she just cured cancer. "Now this is what coming home should feel like." "Emma drove over just to make dinner," he added. "How thoughtful." I set down my laptop bag, my jaw tightening. "Where's James?" Frank's voice dripped with accusation. He didn't even look up from his newspaper. "Poor boy practically lives at the office now that his wife is never home." Margaret, ever the peacekeeper, chimed in gently. I taught Emma my special lasagna recipe today. Frank nodded approvingly, because that's what good wives do. Emma smirked. They learned to cook, not PowerPoint. Days blurred together. Frank rearranged my kitchen because efficiency is important for a housewife. He started scheduling family dinners without checking my calendar, and every declined invitation earned me a lecture about priorities. Your presentation can wait, he'd say. Family comes first. Then came the casual jabs at James. Son, when's the last time you had a home-cooked meal from your wife? Dad, Thompson's wife, quit her job after marriage. Their home life is perfect. James would just shuffle uncomfortably. Laura's career is important to her. More important than her marriage. The breaking point came during Sunday dinner. Frank cleared his throat dramatically. Laura, we need to discuss your situation. I set down my fork. My situation. Your career is destroying this family. He leaned forward, his voice steady, absolute. James works late because home is empty. You're never here to maintain the house properly. Frank, please, Margaret whispered. No, Margaret, this needs to be said. He turned back to me. You have a choice to make. Be a proper wife or be a failure. Quit your job or admit you're not cut out for marriage. Emma nodded, arms crossed. Dad's right, you can't have both. I looked at James, my husband, the love of my life. He stared at his plate, said nothing. Frank exhaled sharply. Well, what's it going to be? I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the hardwood. I need some air. Running away won't change facts, Laura. You're tearing this family apart. As I walked to our bedroom, I heard Emma mutter, see, she doesn't even care about family. I closed the door behind me and leaned against it, my mind racing. Something about these so-called renovations had felt off from the beginning. Frank's constant presence, the escalating demands, James's silent compliance. I grabbed my phone and dialed the contractor. I'm sorry, Mrs. Walker, but we don't have any renovation contract with Mr. Collins. He canceled all plans 3 months ago. 3 months ago. Before they moved in. Game on, Frank. Armed with the contractor's information, I started digging deeper. My marketing skills came in handy. People love to talk when you ask the right questions. The next morning, I found Frank in his usual spot, newspaper raised like a shield. Sleep well? He asked, tongue smug. I heard you pacing last night. Job stress, perhaps. I took a sip of my coffee. Actually, I was on the phone. The newspaper lowered slightly. With who? Bob Thompson. You know, the one whose wife quit her job. Funny thing, she didn't quit. She was pushed out by her meddling father-in-law. Frank's knuckles tightened around the paper. Nonsense. Oh, she's doing great now, especially after she shared her story about workplace harassment. Before he could respond, Emma burst in. Dad, we need to discuss the renovation timeline. What renovation? I interrupted, eyes locked on Frank. Emma frowned. The one at their house. The one that was canceled 3 months ago. The silence was deafening. Emma's face paled. You knew, I said softly. You both planned this. Frank's jaw tightened. Now, Laura. Save it. I recorded everything. Every suggestion. Every threat. Every time you undermined my marriage. Emma stepped forward, voice sharp. You're being dramatic. I tilted my head. Like James's ex-fiancée, she was being dramatic too, right? Emma froze. I let that hang in the air. Yeah, I found her. Sarah, wasn't it? The one who left James 6 years ago because of family pressure? Funny how that keeps happening. Frank's voice was low, dangerous. That's none of your business. Margaret's quiet voice came from the doorway. Frank. We all turned. Go upstairs, Margaret. His voice cracked like a whip. But Margaret didn't move. Her hands trembled, but her voice was steady. I can't watch you do this again. Emma gasped. Mom? Margaret took a breath. Your father, he's done this before. Not just with Sarah. With every woman who threatened his control. Frank shot up from his chair. I protected this family. No, Margaret shot back. You controlled it. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Tell me more, Margaret. And she did. Years of manipulation. Careers sabotaged. Relationships destroyed. All to maintain Frank's perfect family image. I turned to Emma. Does James know? Margaret sighed. James sees what Frank allows him to see. Emma's voice was barely above a whisper. Sarah didn't leave because of cold feet. She left because Dad threatened to ruin her law career. Margaret nodded. Just like he's trying with you, Laura. Frank slammed his fists against the table. This discussion is over. I smiled. Actually, it's just beginning. I picked up my phone. I'm hosting a dinner tomorrow night. James' entire business circle will be there. Partners, clients, everyone. Frank's face darkened. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I leaned in. Oh, and Frank, I invited Sarah. She's very excited to finally tell her story. Emma inhaled sharply. You'll destroy this family. I met her gaze, unflinching. No, I'll save it. I turned to Margaret. There's a guest room at my friend Lisa's place. Pack a bag. Frank's face twisted in fury. Margaret, don't you dare. I already did. Her voice was quiet, but firm. This morning. I watched Frank's world crumble in real time. 35 years of control, undone in 30 minutes. Oh, and one more thing, I added. Those recordings, already backed up to the cloud. Try anything tonight, and they go public tomorrow. I helped Margaret gather her bags, but Emma hesitated. Laura, wait. Her voice was shaky. There's more you should know. About James. About what Dad made me do. I paused. Tell me everything. And the next hour revealed the full scope of Frank's manipulation. Each story worse than the last. Tomorrow would be a reckoning. 35 years in the making. As we stepped outside, I turned to Margaret. Ready for dinner. She squared her shoulders, a quiet strength settling over her. More than ready. From the window, Frank watched us leave, his empire crumbling around him. Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. The dining room buzzed with conversation. James's business partners, their spouses, even Sarah. Everyone who mattered in our social circle was there. Frank sat stiffly at one end of the table, looking like a man awaiting execution. Lovely party, Laura, Mrs. Anderson purred, our biggest client's wife. Though I'm surprised Frank's home renovations aren't finished yet. I smiled, tapping my glass with a fork. About that. The chatter died down. Frank's shoulders tensed. I have an interesting story to share. James frowned. Honey. Frank's face darkened. Laura. I met his gaze head on. Did you know Frank canceled the renovation contract 3 months ago? A pause. The kind that pulls oxygen from the room. Before moving in, I let the words settle, and when I looked deeper, I found a pattern. Emma stared at her plate. Margaret sat rigid, eyes fixed ahead. I turned to Sarah. Would you like to start? She hesitated, then lifted her chin. 6 years ago, I was a law student. Frank told me I was too ambitious, that I'd make a terrible wife. Then, my internship mysteriously fell through. James's head snapped up. What? Dad said you left because. Sarah's voice wavered, but she pushed forward. Because your father threatened to call every law firm in the state if I didn't leave you. The murmurs swelled. Mr. Thompson, James's senior partner, leaned forward. That's a serious accusation. I pulled out my phone. Oh, I have proof. A single press of a button, and Frank's voice filled the room. Quit your job or admit you're not cut out for marriage. More recordings played, each one worse than the last. Emma's involvement in workplace harassment, Margaret's years of silent suffering, the systematic destruction of any woman who challenged Frank's authority. Mrs. Anderson pressed a hand to her mouth. My God. James stood slowly, his face pale. Dad, tell me this isn't true. Frank's mask cracked. Everything I did was for this family, he roared. These career women filling your head with ideas. These career women, Mr. Thompson interrupted coldly, are our biggest clients, who you've just insulted. In their presence, the aftermath was swift. Thompson terminated their business partnership on the spot. Other partners followed. Frank's carefully built network collapsed in minutes. James, Frank pleaded. Son. James didn't yell, didn't rage. He simply met his father's eyes and said, Get out. James. Get out of our house. A hollow silence. Then Emma stood. I'm sorry, Dad. I can't. Her voice shook. I need to fix what I've done. Starting with an apology to everyone I helped you hurt. Frank's chest rose and fell, his world slipping from his grasp. No allies. No power. No control. By the end of the night, Frank left alone. His empire in ruins. 1 year later, our home is peaceful. James and I are stronger, working through the damage in counseling. Emma is rebuilding relationships, especially with Sarah, now a successful attorney. Margaret is discovering herself finally free. And Frank? Last I heard, he lives alone. His social circle gone. His business contacts severed. Sometimes karma works better than any revenge you could plan. One evening, as James and I lay in bed, he whispered, "You saved us." I smiled. No, we saved ourselves. We just needed someone to break the silence. Because silence lets abuse continue. But silence can also be broken. And when it shatters, it takes every lie down with it. My scars may be silent, but my voice, it's louder than ever. Hi, I'm Susan. I never thought I'd be telling this story, but here I am, 19 years old, about to share how my mother revealed her true colors in the worst possible way. It started with the lumps. Small ones at first, along my neck. I ignored them for weeks, assuming they'd go away. Then came the night sweats, the exhaustion that no amount of sleep could fix. Ashley, my best friend, was the first to notice. "Girl, you look awful. Have you seen a doctor?" She asked during one of our late-night study sessions. "It's probably just stress from finals." "No way. You're calling a doctor right now. And if you don't, I'm driving you myself." That was Ashley, stubborn and caring, a mix that never took no for an answer. She sat there, arms crossed, watching me dial. My mother, Sandra, was less concerned. "Honey, you're being dramatic. Besides, I have my charity gala this weekend. You know how important these events are for our image." That was my mom, always more worried about appearances than reality. Living in her mansion with Richard, my stepdad, she had transformed into someone I barely recognized. Designer clothes, country club memberships, the perfect socialite. Then came the test results. "Mrs. Thompson," the doctor said, voice calm but firm. "The results are conclusive. Susan has stage 2 lymphoma." My mother's perfectly manicured hand tightened around her designer purse. "Treatment options?" she asked, her voice sharp. "We need to start chemotherapy immediately. Given the type and stage, we're looking at a comprehensive plan. With your insurance, the cost will be approximately $175,000. Silence. Then that look. The one where her smile stayed frozen, but her eyes turned cold. "Richard and I will need to discuss this," she said, rising from her seat and smoothing her skirt. "We'll be in touch." "Mom, what are you talking about?" I asked, panic creeping into my voice. The doctor said immediately, "Not now, Susan." That tone, the one that meant trouble. "Mrs. Thompson," the doctor tried again. "We really should admit Susan today." I said, "We'll discuss it." Her voice echoed through the sterile room. Then she turned and walked out, heels clicking against the tile floor. I scrambled after her, my heart pounding. Outside, she stopped abruptly. "Get your things from the car." "What?" "Your phone. Your bag. Get them now." My hands shook as I obeyed. The moment I shut the car door, she slid into the driver's seat and started the engine. "Mom, what are you doing?" She gripped the wheel. "I can't do this, Susan. Do you know what this would do to our lifestyle? To my reputation? Richard's business associates' wives all have perfect families. I can't have a sick daughter right now." "Mom, please." But she was already pulling away. I stood there, my purse clutched against my chest, watching her expensive SUV disappear around the corner. I called Ashley immediately. My voice cracked. "Ash, I need you. Mom she just left me here." "What?" "Stay right there. I'm coming. Don't move, okay?" I sank onto a nearby bench, the crumpled diagnosis paper in my hand. Around me, families walked in and out of the cancer center. Normal families. Families where mothers didn't abandon their daughters at the worst moment of their lives. The hospital social worker's office felt smaller than it was, crammed with filing cabinets and paperwork. Maria, the social worker, had been reviewing my case for the past hour. She glanced at me with kind eyes, but her voice was all business. "Sweetie, there's something else we need to discuss." I've been looking into your financial situation to help with treatment coverage. Ashley squeezed my hand as Maria pulled out a file. Your college fund was emptied last month. All $127,000 of it. That's impossible, I said, my pulse spiking. Mom told me it was frozen until I started classes next semester. Maria shook her head. According to these records, Sandra withdrew everything on the 15th. There's also a pattern of smaller withdrawals over the past year. The room tilted. Ashley's mom leaned forward. Susan, you're staying with us. No arguments. That's when my phone buzzed. An unknown number. Hello. A voice I hadn't heard in years. Susan, it's Uncle Jake. My mother always called him troubled, told me to keep my distance. Maria tracked me down. Listen, kiddo, there's something you need to know about your mom. I gripped the phone tighter. I'm listening. She did the same thing to me. When I was 16, I got sick. Different diagnosis, same story. My mother cleaned out my trust fund, claiming it was for my treatment, but the money never went to hospital bills. Instead, I ended up living with our grandparents, while she went on with her life, like I had never existed. My stomach twisted. What happened to the money? Check your mom's social media, Uncle Jake said over the phone. Look at the dates of the withdrawals from your account. Ashley was already pulling up Instagram. And there it was. Posts lined up perfectly with the dates my college fund had been drained. Mom, lounging at a luxury spa in Switzerland. Mom, on a designer shopping spree. Mom, posing next to a brand new sports car. Self-care journey, the caption read. Ashley zoomed in on another post. That necklace she's wearing, Susan, isn't that the one she said was a family heirloom? I swallowed hard. Yeah. Except according to the caption, she just bought it at Cartier. $40,000 worth of family heirloom. Maria, the social worker, cleared her throat. There's more. I barely had time to process before she slid another file in front of me. Your mother had access to a custodial account set up by your biological father. That's been drained too. My hands clenched into fists. Those funds were supposed to be for emergencies. For something exactly like this. Uncle Jake's voice crackled through the phone. I'm catching the next flight out. Don't let her near any other accounts. Ashley's mom pulled me into a hug. We'll figure this out, sweetheart. The important thing is getting you healthy. The treatment center has financial assistance programs, Maria added, flipping through more papers. And given your mother's documented pattern of financial abuse, we have options for legal recourse. But I barely heard her. I was still staring at my mother's Instagram page. At her carefully curated life, built with stolen money. My money. Money that was supposed to save my life. Uncle Jake, what made her like this? He exhaled heavily. She's always been this way, kiddo. Some people just hide it better than others. But this time, she's not getting away with it. That night, Uncle Jake spread the documents across Ashley's dining room table. Each paper revealed another piece of Mom's twisted history. Look at this, he said grimly. She did the same thing to 3 different relatives. Emptied their accounts, disappeared, then showed up years later like nothing happened. Ashley recorded everything on her phone. The dates matched perfectly with her social media posts. Every time she drained an account, she went on these crazy shopping sprees. And then my phone started buzzing. Texts. Calls. Mom. Now that the local news had picked up the story, mother abandoned sick daughter at cancer center. She was desperate to fix things. Sweetheart, you're making our family look terrible. Just come home and we'll sort this out. Can't we just move past this unfortunate misunderstanding? Think about what this is doing to Richard's business reputation. Ashley's dad glanced over my shoulder at the messages. Keep everything. Every text, every voicemail. We're building a case. Then came the hospital's annual charity gala. She didn't know I'd be there. Maria had arranged for me to speak, an anonymous patient sharing the struggles of young cancer survivors. I was backstage when I heard her voice. I've donated thousands to this hospital, she was saying, smooth as ever. My daughter Susan is a patient here. She's just confused right now, going through a difficult time. I stepped onto the stage. My headscarf was neatly arranged, my hands steady. Really, Mom? My voice rang through the hall. Is that what you call stealing my college fund and abandoning me after my diagnosis? Silence. Richard, my stepdad, stood up from his table. Sandra, what is she talking about? Her smile barely faltered. She's confused, Richard. The illness is affecting her judgment. Uncle Jake's voice cut through the room. Should we talk about what happened when I got sick at 16, Sandra? Or about Cousin Anna's trust fund? Mom's mask cracked. You shut your mouth, she snapped, her voice shrill. You've always been jealous of my success. Uncle Jake laughed bitterly. Success? You mean the money you stole from your sick daughter? She lunged toward the stage. Her designer dress caught on a chair. You ungrateful brat. I gave you everything. My heart pounded. But my voice didn't shake. You gave me nothing. You took everything. Richard turned to Uncle Jake, eyes scanning the documents. His face turned ashen. The company donations, Sandra, tell me you didn't. Her mascara was running now. Richard, baby, I can explain. Explain what? He shot back. How you've been stealing from your own daughter? From the hospital's charity fund. Desperate, she turned to the crowd. You don't understand. I deserve nice things. I've worked so hard to fit in with all of you. Ashley stood up, phone still recording. Is that what you call stealing from cancer patients? Working hard? Mom lost it, screaming, pointing at everyone. They're lying. They're all lying. I'm the victim here. Security started moving in. Richard turned to Maria. Get me the treatment paperwork. I'm covering everything. And as they dragged her from the ballroom, her shrieks echoed against the walls. You can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? Turns out, we all finally did. 6 months into my treatment, the courtroom felt colder than the chemo room. The prosecutor laid out everything. Every stolen dollar. Every abandoned relative. Every manipulative message. Mom sat at the defense table in last season's clothes, looking smaller without her usual designer labels. The defendant showed a clear pattern of financial exploitation, the prosecutor stated, targeting Miss Thompson during her medical crisis. Under state law, her daughter's cancer-related dependency classifies this as elder abuse despite her young age. The evidence was overwhelming. Uncle Jake's medical records, the drained accounts, the texts, the videos from the gala. Mom's old country club friends whispered in the gallery, watching their former queen bee fall from grace. In light of the defendant's actions, the prosecutor finished, we're seeking the maximum penalty. Richard testified about the missing charity funds. And Mom? She just sat there, silent. For the first time in her life, she had nothing left to say. She didn't just steal from me. She stole from other cancer patients through our foundation. Mom's lawyer scrambled for damage control. My client was simply maintaining her family's standard of living by stealing her daughter's cancer treatment money. The judge wasn't having it. The verdict came fast. Guilty, on all counts. Mom's perfectly styled hair couldn't hide her shock when they led her away in handcuffs. Outside the courthouse, Richard handed me a folder. The divorce is final. I've set up a trust for your ongoing care, one only you can access. 3 more months of treatment followed. But this time, something was different. I had real support. Ashley and her family, Uncle Jake, Richard. Even my nurses celebrated each small victory. And then came the day we'd been waiting for. My scan results were clear. No sign of cancer. We planned a small celebration at Ashley's house. Nothing big, just my real family, the people who had stood by me. That's when Mom showed up. Fresh out on bail pending appeal, wearing a knockoff designer dress. I'm here to celebrate my daughter's recovery. Ashley's dad stepped in. Sandra, you need to leave. She scoffed. You can't keep me from my own daughter's party. I'm her mother. Uncle Jake's voice was ice. A mother who stole her daughter's cancer treatment money. Her eyes darted between us. I did everything for her. I sacrificed. I finally found my voice. You sacrificed nothing. You stole everything. And you are not welcome here. But I'm your mother. You have to forgive me. I met her gaze, steady and unwavering. I don't have to do anything. I turned to the people beside me. My real family is here. The people who showed up when you ran away. She lunged forward, trying to grab me. Richard caught her arm. That's another violation of the restraining order, Sandra. The police arrived within minutes. As they took her away again, she was still screaming about forgiveness and family obligations. But inside, surrounded by the people who actually love me, I finally felt free. Ashley raised her glass to kicking cancer's butt. Uncle Jake smirked. And to real family. Richard's voice was quiet but firm, to justice. I looked around at my true family, the ones who stayed, who fought, who cared. Mom may have stolen my money, but she gave me something priceless in return, the clarity to see who really deserved a place in my life. I lifted my glass to new beginnings, and for the first time in a long time, I truly meant it. What would you do if your own mother stole your life-saving treatment money for luxury shopping? Would you ever forgive her, or would you press charges and cut her out of your life completely? Some say family deserves endless chances. Others believe toxic family members should face consequences just like anyone else. Where do you draw the line between loyalty and self-protection? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. Hi, I'm Anna. My life changed fast when my dad married Emma's mom. I was 12, she was 14. At first, everything was great, better than I expected. Emma would braid my hair, help me with my math homework, and we'd spend hours watching ridiculous reality shows together. Even my best friend, Maya, was jealous. "You lucked out," she'd say. "I wish I had a cool stepsister." But things shifted when we hit high school. Subtle at first, so subtle even Maya didn't notice. But my boyfriend Derek did. One Friday morning, Emma popped her head into my room. "Can I borrow your new sweater for my date?" I hesitated. I had saved for months to buy that sweater, but she was my sister, right? "Sure," I said. "Just, please be careful with it." She came home at night with a giant coffee stain down the front. "Oops," she said, barely glancing at it. "Accidents happen. Hey, you can totally cover it with a scarf." Then there was my sweet 16. Dad and my stepmom let me invite 30 people to a fancy restaurant downtown. Emma even helped plan it. I thought that was sweet, until the night before, when I overheard her on the phone. "Yeah, Hannah's thing is at 7, but why don't we meet at 6? There's a way better place next door. No one cool is going to her party anyway." She had planned her own dinner at the same time. Half my guests never even made it to my party. When I confronted her, she just laughed. "Don't be so sensitive. People just wanted to grab a quick bite first. Not everything is about you, Anna." Maya was furious. "She's jealous," she said the next day at lunch. "You're getting better grades, you made the dance team, and let's be real. Derek asked you out even though she was totally into him." I didn't want to believe it. Emma was my sister. Sure, we had our differences, but that was normal, right? Then college acceptance letters came. I got into my dream school. Emma didn't. For the next week, she told everyone I only got in because the school had to fill their charity quota. Derek urged me to stand up to her. "You can't let her keep treating you like this," he said during one of our coffee dates. But I kept making excuses. She was stressed. She was going through a rough breakup. She didn't really mean it. I just wanted peace in our blended family. Then, in senior year of college, everything shifted. Emma got engaged to a guy named James after 6 months of dating. One evening, as I sat in my dorm with Maya, Emma's name flashed on my phone. She was grinning when I answered. "Anna, you won't believe it. I'm getting married, and I want you to be my maid of honor." Maya rolled her eyes behind my phone, but I forced a smile. "Wow, that's amazing. Are you sure you want me?" "Of course, you're my sister. Plus, all my closest friends are fighting over who gets to be bridesmaids. This way, I don't have to pick sides. And you're so good at organizing things." After the call, Maya didn't hold back. She just doesn't want to deal with the drama of picking between her actual friends. "You know that, right?" "Maybe she genuinely wants to include me," I argued. "Like she included you in her graduation party planning?" Maya shot back. "The one where she told you the wrong date." "That was different," I said. "She told me her mom mixed up the dates." Maya grabbed my shoulders. "Anna, she posted the right date on social media 3 weeks before. I saw it. She knew exactly what she was doing." The dress fitting should have been my first clue. Emma had picked matching dresses for all the bridesmaids except mine. "Oh no," she gasped dramatically at the boutique. "They must have mixed up your measurements. The sample size should have fit you perfectly." The seamstress frowned, flipping through her notes. "Miss, you specifically requested this size when you called last week." Emma blinked innocently. "There must be some mistake. Anna, maybe try a green juice cleanse before the wedding. I hear they work wonders." Later that week, I met Derek for lunch. He stirred his coffee, frowning. She's doing it again. I sighed. Doing what? Remember homecoming? When she told everyone you couldn't afford a ticket, so they should donate to help you? I clenched my jaw. Even after I showed them my pre-purchased ticket, some people still believed her. Exactly. And now she's trying to make you look bad at her wedding. He set down his cup. Maya told me about the dress incident. I don't want to cause drama, I muttered. It's her wedding. It's not drama to stand up for yourself, Derek said firmly. Look, yesterday I overheard her telling the bridesmaids they didn't need to get you a wedding party gift because, in her words, Anna's not really part of the traditional wedding party. She's only doing it as a favor to me. I picked at my sandwich. Maybe she meant it in a nice way. Anna, Derek sighed. Stop making excuses for her. Real sisters don't treat each other like this. My sisters fight all the time, but they would never deliberately humiliate me. The wedding rehearsal dinner came too fast. Emma had been oddly quiet all week, almost nice. She kept talking about the reception, the special moments she had planned. I let myself hope. Maybe despite everything, we could finally be real sisters. The wedding. The reception was in full swing. Emma was a vision in white, and James couldn't stop smiling at her. At the head table, I sat between Maya and Derek, watching as she stood for her speech. I want to thank everyone for being here today, she began, voice honey sweet. Especially my beautiful family. Mom, thank you for always being there. And to my stepdad, thank you for bringing so much joy into our lives. Then she turned to me. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. And Anna, my dear stepsister. You know, a lot of people here don't know your story. They don't know that you're actually adopted. The room fell silent. My heart stopped. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. Emma pressed a hand to her chest, the perfect picture of innocence. I remember when Dad told me last month. He thought I already knew. Can you believe that? Apparently, your birth mother left you at the hospital, and my stepdad adopted you before he met your first stepmom. Maya gripped my hand under the table. Anna, we can leave. Right now. But I was frozen. Emma's voice carried through the hushed reception hall. I just think it's beautiful how you found a family that wanted you. And now you have a sister too. I mean, not by blood, obviously, but family is more than blood, right? Derek shot to his feet. That's enough, Emma. She blinked at him. What? I'm celebrating our family. Anna, why do you look so upset? Oh my gosh. Was it a secret? Did you not tell James's family? She gasped theatrically. Did I just ruin a surprise? Dad finally found his voice. Emma, stop this, now. But Daddy, she pouted, I just wanted everyone to know how special Anna is to us. How we chose her to be part of our family. James's mother spoke up hesitantly. Emma, dear, perhaps this isn't the appropriate time. Emma flipped her hair. It's the perfect time. We're all family here. Anna, don't you want people to know your story? About how brave you were? Being abandoned and all. It's inspiring. My voice finally returned, hoarse and quiet. I didn't know. The air turned heavier. Emma's expression flickered, just for a second, before she recovered. What do you mean you didn't know? She asked, Fox concern masking her satisfaction. I swallowed hard. I didn't know I was adopted. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Dad stood, his face pale. Anna, I was waiting for the right time. I wanted to tell you privately, not like this. When Dad? My voice cracked. Another 22 years. Emma placed a hand over her mouth in exaggerated horror. Oh no, did I just ruin a surprise? She turned to the guests. I feel terrible. Maya slammed her napkin on the table. No, you don't. You planned this whole thing. Emma's eyes flashed. It's my wedding day. I was trying to share a beautiful family moment. But James was staring at her like he'd never seen her before. His mother had a hand over her mouth. The other guests looked anywhere but at me. I glanced at my dad, my stepmom, who refused to meet my gaze, and finally, at Emma, her triumph barely concealed beneath feigned innocence. Without a word, I stood. Derek and Maya followed. Dad called my name, but I didn't look back. I kept walking. Behind me, Emma's voice floated through the open doors, light and careless. I guess she's just sensitive about it. Should we cut the cake now? 3 months passed. One chilly Saturday, Maya invited me over for coffee. She had that look, the one she got when she was sitting on top of some major gossip. "You won't believe what happened at the country club last weekend," she said, pouring me a cup. I raised an eyebrow. "Emma drama." "Oh, the best kind." Maya smirked. "She tried to join James's mother's charity committee." I took a sip. "Let me guess. She got in." "Nope." Maya's grin widened. "Mrs. Bennett straight up told her, 'I don't think you'd be a good fit for our organization. We value discretion and compassion.'" I nearly choked on my coffee. "Seriously?" "Oh yeah." Emma threw a full-blown tantrum in the middle of the dining room. Started crying about how everyone's been so mean to her since the wedding. How she was just trying to share a beautiful family story. I sighed. Classic Emma. But here's the best part. Maya leaned in. James's cousin was there, and she told Emma, "The only story you shared was how cruel you can be to your own sister." I stirred my coffee slowly. Dad said she's been calling him constantly, complaining that James's family is freezing her out. Can you blame them? Maya scoffed. They saw who she really is. No more playing the perfect daughter-in-law. I hesitated, then asked, "And James?" Maya sat back. Derek ran into him at the gym. Apparently, he's starting to see through her act. She tried to twist the wedding story, make herself look like the victim. But he remembered how she practiced that speech beforehand. She kept refining it to sound more innocently cruel. Those were his exact words. I exhaled slowly. Karma's catching up to her. Maya beamed. "Oh, it gets better. Did you hear about her job?" I shook my head. "What happened?" "She got passed over for that big promotion she wanted. Turns out her boss's daughter is adopted. And when he heard about the wedding incident from another employee, he decided Emma wasn't exactly leadership material." I blinked. "Wow." Maya shrugged. "Actions have consequences." I leaned back in my chair. I haven't spoken to her since that night. "Good." Maya took a sip of her coffee, then smirked. "Not that she isn't talking about you. She's been telling anyone who'll listen that you're the one being dramatic." I sighed. "Of course." "Too bad for her." Maya's eyes sparkled. "The video exists." I frowned. "Video?" Maya grinned. James's teenage cousin recorded the whole speech for social media. She posted it with the caption, "How not to give a wedding toast." It got shared in a few wedding shaming groups. Emma's been getting dragged online by complete strangers. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Maya saw the hesitation on my face and shook her head. "Don't. She did this to herself. No one told her to ambush you with your adoption story. No one made her turn your personal history into wedding entertainment. She chose that. All on her own." Maya was right. Emma's perfect little world was unraveling. Not because of anything I did, but because people finally saw her for who she really was. Her mask had slipped in front of the very people she was so desperate to impress. And no amount of fake tears or forced apologies could make them unsee it. Last I heard, she and James were in counseling. Her social circle had shrunk to just a handful of people, mostly the ones who were just as toxic as she was. And her new mother-in-law? She had uninvited Emma from the annual family vacation. I took another sip of coffee, warmth settling in my chest. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply letting toxic people face the natural consequences of their own actions.